Hey there, you guys. We're back. We're playing a little bit of the forest. I know it's been a couple weeks since I really uploaded. Hell, it's been a couple weeks since I actually even really loaded up the game. I did a little bit of progress. Um, as you can see over there, we'll kind of walk over that way and take a look at what I've got. There's still plenty to be done, which is kind of my goal for this video. Um, but yeah, it's been like a little about 3.5 weeks or so since I really played the game. I mean, I kind of fell back into my old state of not really knowing what I wanted to do or really hit the record button. It's a bad habit that I've had. And that's something I just need to get over. Not to really make excuses or anything because, I did want to start making videos again and try to be more regular. And yeah, the past couple weeks, I really haven't done a good job of doing that. Um, but not to make excuses or anything. I have been working a lot lately, and it's just kind of difficult to find the motivation. I don't really want to come home, be exhausted, and just be like, well, here we are. Even though I kind of sound like that on a regular basis anyway. Um, but yeah, in between, I've been trying to think of what I really wanted to do with this building. If I recall correctly, last I left you guys, we were basically putting together this platform. Since then, I've established a couple walls, pretty basic because I was still trying to decide what I wanted to do. Um, I still kind of don't really know what I want to do with it. I'm kind of trying to decide what purpose I want this building to be or to have. It's a little smaller than what I was really hoping for. I mean, it looked really big when I had the platform, but I gave myself a patio area because I I wanted it to look nice, and now that I've kind of thrown it together and I'm looking at it, it just seems a little small. We have so much space. I really want to try and build a couple buildings. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build a couple of them. I want to still build like a house somewhere, so like a nice little area for sleeping quarters and a little bit of decoration and things like that, and a couple other buildings just for like storing different items, um, medical supplies, raw materials like sticks, logs, stuff like that. Um, and this one's just kind of it's in an interesting spot since it's right down here. Um, so I kind of decided that I want to make this um, kind of like a building focused on storing food, have it kind of be like our mess hall. Um, I have no idea. I'm not very good at interior decorating. I mean, I kind of tried to make it look the best that I can for now. I did make a bit of a mistake, and I kind of just decided to roll with it over here. Um, I don't even remember how I managed to do this, but I think it had something to do with you can place walls and then you can add the custom walls, and there was some kind of a mix-up with me figuring that out, and this was the first one that I built. It's still fully functional, of course. It just looks a little funky, but we did manage to not have that problem over here. Um, I could probably change it. There is a setting that you can. Man, it got dark really fast. There's a setting that you can turn off and on, and it will basically make your buildings destructible. When I was mentioning earlier, I think I did at one point with one of these lights that I couldn't really fix it, and it's because I had my I had it toggled so that my buildings can't be destroyed. I mean, I work a lot. I don't have a lot of time to really put into this. I don't want my wall being destroyed by the baddies every other time that I log on. I just literally do not have time for that. I don't know who does. So I'm kind of just going to roll with my mistakes as they go. We may flip it on to kind of rearrange a few things. I don't know. I like this garden area, but it kind of feels awkward and in the way. Um, I don't know. I kind of I like the imperfections. It gives it more character. And, it tells a bit of a story of our progress. So I think what I'm going to do is make this into kind of like our mess hall area, decorate it to the best of my ability. First thing we need to do is throw on a roof, so I'll probably do that. And then what I'll do is I'll try and figure out locations for some of the basic stuff. And I really want to put some time into this and make it look, pretty nice. And I'm going to have to flip through a lot of the building options, see what I can do. I'm not going to keep you guys around for that. So I will let you guys go, slap a roof on, kind of figure out general locations for some of the stuff that I want to put in here, some of the storage, things like that. And I don't know, then we'll see how it looks from there. Going to be kind of a buildy episode. Should be kind of fun. I'm pretty excited about finally getting this done. Feels good to kind of be back in front of the computer and chatting with you guys. So I'm going to get started on that. And we'll kind of see how it goes. I'll bring you guys back soon. All right, you guys. So a little bit of progress has been made, as you might be able to tell. I'm going to ignore one or two things just for the moment and just kind of show you what we've done since we last left off. We went ahead and added this little bit of a fence onto the patio area. You really only have stick or bone fence as an option. The bone fence is a little bit more subtle, but I kind of wanted to go with the stick. I'm not sure I'm particularly happy with it. It doesn't connect when you build like a lot of it like this. It's not that it looks necessarily bad. It just doesn't really look as good as it probably could. I feel like if it just kind of connected a little bit, but I probably could have done something like that if I wanted to place each section of fence individually. I don't know. I didn't even try. I just kind of was like, hey, stick fence, blam, blam, build the bitch. And it doesn't look bad. The bone fences are pretty nice, but obviously more expensive. I do have a little bit of bones, but if I use bone for everything, I'm very, very quickly going to run out. So that's not too terrible. Oh, it's already getting a little bit dark. We went ahead and added a couple wall planters out here on the front. You can only really plant, this is something that I kind of discovered, you can only plant like aloe and chicory and things like that into them, so you can't plant like a mini blueberry bush, which isn't a big deal because we can do that with the garden. I kind of placed these out here and then thought, what would have been a really good idea is if I just placed like a garden, like the ones we have over there, because you can change the shape of those pretty easily. I could just have really placed one of these down here along this wall, and that probably would have looked a lot better and been a bit more functional. Because, I placed a couple of those inside as well, just because I wanted a little bit of flora. I might still place one of those because I think there's enough room here. I want to place a couple things of water out here. This is going to be kind of where the water goes. But I think I don't think these will look too bad once I place, like, say, one of those gardens down here. I think that'll look pretty nice, and we'll have a really nice little patio area. I might even add a chair out here just so I can sit and kind of gaze out on all that I've done. Either way, let's head inside. So we've actually done a lot of work in here. We've put the roof together. We've added a handful of things. Luckily, there is a bit of light in here, so even if it gets dark, it shouldn't really be too much of a problem. We added these 3 tables as well as a couple benches. I was kind of thinking of it being like a counter kind of area. We have we have a place to sit. Not that we're ever really going to sit, but it's more about the aesthetic. It's almost like, this is kind of a restaurant or something along those lines. You're going to have somebody back here behind the counter serving the people that are going to be sitting here. Now I'm kind of thinking of this as more of a bar area, and I'll probably have like a table and chair because we have a lot of open space. So I'll probably put like a table and chair over in this area. just to kind of spruce the place up a little bit. Man, it got dark, even with our light. We might need to add more light. But we do, if you guys can see this, have a couple of extra wall planters over here. A single aloe vera plant. Seeds are kind of hard to come by. I mean, we have plenty of blueberry seeds, but we can't plant them in those. But I figured this would add a little bit of, life to the build. Moving on. So those are just something a little bit nice. We have 4 drying racks here in the back with our little bit of a fireplace. I went ahead and added that in there. I'm trying to really create an aesthetic. I'm not very good at this sort of thing. And then over here we have just an absolute fuckload of the larger cabinets, which you can store pretty much any kind of item in. I mean, I can throw down my various mixes that I've made here, but that's kind of not really what I'm going for this. That's kind of like the pharmacy maybe later on if we build something like that. So I've kind of been organizing a lot of the soda. We'll probably fill this bad boy out. We'll have our snack bars and various other things. A lot of alcohol, because that's just a lot more useful for things like Molotovs and things like that. But there's still a lot to do. I mean, we added a little bit of lighting. These chandeliers are excessively expensive. They're made entirely out of bones. They take a lot, and they take 8 skulls each. I really like the way they look. They don't really provide much more light than the skull lamps, although they don't flicker, which is the interesting thing. But, I mean, you're paying for, like, 1 rope, I think it's a cloth and a single skull. You get, a pretty healthy amount of light. I mean, this is pretty comparable. It's just the skull lamps flicker. So, how much do I care about non-flickering light? I mean, it's nice. It's just, I don't know. It's still really dark in here. Definitely going to have to add more light. I added a couple standing lamps here because I'm obviously not going to be having the fire going. It's just aesthetic. So we'll definitely be adding some more light. I have a couple of other ideas that I kind of really want to add in and, do a couple other things with. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. We do have a wall section up there and a couple fence sections up there. The building in this game is just quirky, to say the least. And while I was trying to establish both the fence out front and some of these walls, I was kind of trying to figure out how to fill in these empty sections. I still have absolutely no idea how to, so that's probably something that I'll look up and hopefully have done, if it's even possible. I would assume it's possible, but I don't know how to do it. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And if I can't, then I don't know. I can't actually get up there. Like, I sort of can, but I can't get up there long enough to actually delete those. So I figured I would just kind of leave them, because it's going to require a little bit of extra work to actually get up there. I'm not really sure if I'm going to have to either build some kind of a temporary structure and then tear it down. I even considered building like a small platform kind of behind the building for a climbing rope, or I could even do something so that I could walk from this cliff to the top of the building. I don't think that would be too bad. There's a lot of things, and there's a lot more really tiny details that I really want to work on. There's a lot of options that I really want to try, and I think it already does look a lot better than when we left off, and it was just like a bare bones, nothing really here. So I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, not everything for this build has gone perfectly, but I really think that with a little bit more time, I mean, this took a lot. Some of these things, like each one of these is 8 logs. That is expensive. These weren't so bad. These wall planters are 25 sticks a piece. There's 5 of them right there. There's another 3, 6 out front. Yeah. This fireplace was a lot of sticks, a lot of bones, a lot of skulls. Um, the decorative things especially are just very, very expensive, and they took a lot of time. Hell, it's been about 2 days since the last clip. I mean, obviously not 2 days worth of full gameplay, but um, you know, with the limited time that I have. So, I mean, if I'm going to be adding even more detail, then this is definitely going to be a lot of work. But I look forward to seeing how it's going to turn out. So I'm going to go ahead and sleep for the evening. Let's get one last glimpse of it during the day. And then I will leave you guys. And I'm going to have to be figuring out a couple things, like how to get rid of those, how I want to play some things. And I'm going to have to be gathering some more resources for sure. But I'll bring you guys back once I've made even more progress. Alright, you guys, so we're back. This video has honestly taken a really long time to make, both between my 3 weeks of laziness and then me actually putting some time into trying to build that. I almost called it a monstrosity. I really don't want to, because I'm really proud of what I've built over there, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. It has taken so long to just gather the materials for some of that thing, and it is honestly just not as impressive as I like to think that it is. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go over there. Been a minute since we caught a bird. Either way, the first thing that I want to point out is a few things that we've done. We've done a lot. It's been a bit since basically the last video where we just had the foundation done. We've been doing a lot of work. We've had to go pretty much around the map doing just so many things just to get that done up there. Even since the last clip, it's taken quite a while, and a lot of things have changed. One of the first things that has changed is now we have completely cleared all the trees on this side. So now we just get this astoundingly ugly open area, but on the bright side, it is filled to the goddamn brim with stick trees, which is fantastic. I mean, there is a setting that allows you to regrow the trees, which I could turn on, and then that'll refill this area over time. I really don't want to do that. I like the idea of really getting to see the level of devastation that we're causing. And, I mean, I tried to build the wall using only logs from outside the wall's perimeter, which is why we have that, like, 50 feet outside of the wall that is just completely clear. Building this, we have had to clear this entire area, and we are working our way up the hill. I kept these trees because it's got our couple things on there, so we'll probably keep those around. I want to keep a couple of them up there as well, just for I don't know what yet. I just kind of want to. Another thing that you might notice is that our axe is a little bit different. That's another thing that we've put down over there. This is actually a completely new axe. It does give you the option to say, like, remove the things that you've put on the axe, which is, you know, all well and good. So I went ahead and got a completely different axe. It's got, overall, you know, I don't remember what the other one looked like at this point because it's been so long. Long story short, what I found out is that if you actually just use alcohol, and this is not something that I knew, it applies just damage to the weapon. You can just apply basically the broken glass, which is what we have on our axe, broken glass, which it just increases the damage of the weapon. Teeth do the same thing, but what teeth do is they reduce the speed while increasing the damage. We have a lot of teeth. Not anywhere close to as much alcohol. But if we're reducing the speed to increase the damage, then we're basically just compensating that loss by adding feathers. And so overall, by adding just feathers, which increases the speed, we're just overall getting a better weapon. And this is another thing that wasn't part of the game before, where you could just kind of hover over and see every crafting recipe. That's completely new. I only just figured that out a little bit ago. Other than that, a few things that have changed with the inventory. We finally got ourselves a quiver, which is pretty great. A repair tool, which we don't need because our buildings aren't destructible. We made ourselves an axe. I don't know why. We just did. A slingshot, which I haven't even fiddled around with yet. That's kind of a little bit of everything that's going on here for the moment. I mean, we got a leg. 2 legs, actually. Looks like they have spoiled, so those aren't going to be very edible. Not that I think that we can eat them anyway. Let's actually get over there and kind of show you guys what has all changed. I know the outside doesn't very much look that impressive. Let's just do a quick circle. We've got a couple things up there. Added this. I think this is actually kind of neat. I mean, this isn't necessarily a ceiling, but it's a foundation, and you can put those on the bottom. So, I think that little hanging lamp's pretty neat. Over here on the side, we added 3 different skin racks, a little bit of boar hide, deer, and rabbit, I believe. Just to kind of always make sure that we can stock up on that stuff. I don't really think that we need much more. I mean, we will when we start going into the colder area. You need like certain furs to make cold weather gear, so that'll be really important to have. Other than that, I don't think there's really much use for... We can't even decorate with boar hide, but you can with both rabbit and deer, which I did do once, which we'll see once we go inside. There are 1 or 2 other things that I think that we'll be doing with it, so I just kind of want to stockpile it as we continue about our playthrough. So we ended up putting this little bridge here on the back, as you can see. We added, this is purely just a tiny little aesthetic thing that I wanted to add, since we have a fireplace in there now. I wanted to make it kind of look like we were storing supplies, like we had a wood cutting area out here, out the back. So we went ahead and put a log thing, filled it with logs, some sticks. And this is our previous axe in the weapon display. It doesn't really let me pick up both of them at once. I'm pretty sure that ours is significantly better now. So we're just going to leave that there. I really wish I could have known that the axe was going to be facing that way, because, like, I mean, I wanted it to be on the side, because that would have just looked really cool, or at least facing the other way, so it would look like, all right, we're seating the axe into the log, but we're obviously not going to be, like, all the way fucking up here. It just, it's just one of those things that just didn't work out, and there's going to be a number of those as we actually get inside and kind of see what we're doing. One thing you will notice is that this corner space has not been filled in. I went ahead and I looked at I tried out so many different methods. I looked up different people showing you how to do it. I can't make it work. It always goes through the ceiling. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know what it is I'm doing wrong. Maybe it's because I already had the walls and the roof built before I really laid down the blueprint to build that section. I don't know. It's not going to happen from what I've been able to see, the ways that people are doing it and the ways that I've tried it. I've tried it so many different ways. I've sat here for over an hour just trying to finagle it, look up different videos, anything to get it to work, and it's not even getting close to working. If it was poking through a little bit here on the here on each edge, okay, I could accept that. But no, I can't get it to form a triangle. It's just forming a big old rectangle up there. I'm not sure what it is that I'm doing incorrectly. It's probably, I don't even know. So I'm going to try a couple of those methods that I saw and that I tried before on the next build, and we'll see if we can get it to work then, but it just doesn't seem to be in the cards for us right now. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and it's just going to be, this is just going to be our little monstrosity of a building. I mean, that being said, it is still one of the more significant builds that I've ever really built in this game. And as I said, I am not. Oh, hi guys. I'm not a really great builder, especially in this game. And everything. Oh, well, that's lovely. Um, do I want to go deal with that? I don't know. We'll keep going. If it gets a little bit closer, maybe we might have a little bit of a battle on our hands. That sounds pretty close. Either way, I'm not a very great builder. Everything I'm doing is pretty experimental. We made this little bit of a bridge here. I really didn't have to do that, but I mean, I kind of just wanted a way to get down. Um, I don't think it looks too bad, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I put it right here on the back of the fireplace. It looks all right. I'm not too unhappy with it. Um, let's go ahead and step up onto the patio area, and then we'll go ahead and look inside. So we've added our garden here. I actually think that it looks pretty great. I had to finagle with this a little bit because it kept wanting to poke through the wall or on the opposite side of the fence. I ended up getting it to look like this, which isn't really too bad. If I could have made it a little bit thinner, I would have. So after placing all of these water collectors, which was a bitch, by the way, because you can only carry one at a time. So I kept having to make like just constant trips to the beach, and I could only get the sea turtles to spawn. I mean, they would all spawn, but I would like do one trip, run back, place it, do another trip. Maybe there would be a sea turtle there. There was about half the time. I'd get another one, and then I'd have to like just do other things until I could sleep and wait for the next day. So this was definitely one of the longer things. Um, but now we have just tons and tons of water. This walkway is a little bit thin, but we are able to walk through it, which I'm pretty happy with. Um, the wall planters are looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how the porch area looks, to be honest. I even added ourselves a little table and a bone chair, which we can just kind of sit in and just kind of gaze a little bit. You know, gives us a nice little bit of an area here. Um, Made that one out of bone. That's the only one that we did. I am pretty much out of bone. Um, so not too bad. I'm like I said, I'm happy with it. Let's go ahead and head inside and oh boy, we're gonna have a few things to talk about. All right, so we pop ourselves in. Basically, um, things have been filled out. You know, we've got our little counter area where we can sit and do some things. We've added a couple of these um, frames in a couple different locations. I don't know. You can place Timmy's drawings in them. I didn't even know what they did. I had to look it up. I don't know how to properly place these. It gives you like a little bit of an indicator. And this one I tried placing it in the middle and it placed it really far down. So for this one, I tried placing it, I figured if it was in the middle before and it placed it too low, then I should place it at the top in the middle and then it would place it in the middle. But instead it placed it at the top. So I don't really know. Um, Again, just one of those things that we're just going to roll with it as we go. Needless to say, though, each one of these takes rabbit fur. I hate rabbits. They're awful, and I don't like hunting them. They are annoying. Um, we added a little bit of fur decoration. We've got plenty of lighting in here, so this place shines during the night. Hopefully, it can turn night relatively soon, and we can actually see it. We've got our wall planters. Don't have any seeds. And this was a big thing. I was trying to collect seeds the entire time that I was playing. The entire time. And I just wasn't getting any. And I still don't fully understand how this all works. You can eat your ingredients, but it seems to be the only way to collect seeds is to actually collect them. And if you have, say, the maximum amount of aloe in your inventory and you go to collect one, it's just going to tell you, hey, you can't carry anymore. And there's just apparently no way that you're going to be able to get seeds that way. So what I've started doing is just eating the ingredients so that way I can collect them as we go. I don't know. It's proving to be rather difficult. Probably more difficult to collect seeds than I believe that it should be, but that's just something that we're working on. I really wish I could have had all the planters filled. I think it would have looked really good if I could have. We added a little bit of fur on the wall in a couple strategic locations just to kind of add something to it. We added a weapon display and some skulls, just a little bit. We've filled our drying racks. Having to go out and get all those shells and everything like that. And all these deer and rabbit. We've had plenty of time to stock up on food. Plenty of time to stock up on food. We went ahead and added a couple deer heads here. Rather silly looking boar head. This just looks wrong to me. It doesn't look like intimidating at all. The deer honestly look like they're gonna beat you up and take your money more than this smiling motherfucker. So I don't know. I don't think it looks too half bad. We added another weapon display up here. It did not connect at all. I'm not really sure what the hell it thinks it's connecting to. That's another thing, though, that we did discover. You can make spears, which is how we got a hold of some fish. Either way. Other than that, the spear, you can throw it. I think I still have one. Let's equip that. We can just kind of be like, Hoya. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that I was kind of playing around with a little bit in between. Let's see. Other than that, we set up all of these bad boys and have been working on filling them up. We used about half of our alcohol to add the glass to our axe here, so we're a little low on that. We have tons of soda, and we've even stocked up a little bit on snack bars. So we're not too bad. We created this little bit of a dining area. It does feel like the middle of the room is a little empty, but I don't really mind it. The room is a lot more filled out than it was. Again, I'm pretty happy with it. Something I haven't mentioned yet is man, they are determined to interrupt me, I swear. I added this little bit of an armor stand, and I was experimenting a little bit with it. I went ahead and made stealth armor, which allows you to kind of sneak up on things. It's literally just like a lizard skin and like 15 leaves. Yep, lizard skin and 15 leaves. You can make that. It doesn't really provide you a lot of armor, but what it does do is it makes you a little less noticeable. I remember using it in a previous playthrough to help myself get some rabbits, because you need the fur for a ton of things. I didn't really feel like putting it on because it's kind of useless as armor. What I was experimenting with was to see, like, could you put a head or a skull or anything on it? Could you put your clothing on it? No, you can't do any of those things. You can put, like, armor on it, and that's just kind of what it looks like. So I went ahead and I did place him behind this counter bar area. I figured he would be like our employee, our bartender. We walk in the front door, he greets us, and we get to see him every time we come in, and that'd be nice. A little less lonely. But we need to give him a name. I had a couple ideas floating around, but I kind of wanted to give those of you that actually watch and care that I am putting a lot of my time into this. I figured I'd give you guys the opportunity. So if you wanted to suggest any names for our little guy here that we can, that thing is really close. So suggest a name. I'll pick my favorite one. And this brings me to another thing. Now that we pretty much went through and talked about, our building, now that it's about as complete as it's going to get, I don't know where this... It sounds like it's up there. It is getting dark as well, too. I don't really know if I want to deal with it. Something that I've noticed while I was kind of in between play was that I can't tell... Oh, yeah, he's right out there, huh? Oh, there's several of them. Oh, no. Okay. One thing that I have noticed is that I don't know if it's just because the area that I've walled off is so large. If they can actually spawn in here, I think that they can. So I'm not completely safe in here. Oh, well, really quick while we're now that it's nighttime. But yeah, I can't tell if they're spawning in here or if just like while I'm on the other end, if the walls haven't rendered in and the enemies have, and they're just kind of able to glitch through. I know I've had issues with that with like Ark and one or two other games, so I don't know if that's the issue or if they're just spawning. But as you can see, this place is pretty lit, I have to say. I kind of want to go sit in my chair, gaze out. This is a nice image. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I don't even know what to say. I think I'm just gonna head to bed, and then after doing so much resource gathering and building, what I really want to do is go into some of the caves and further progress, find some more drawings, further progress the plot, things like that. So that's going to be really my goal from, at least for a little bit. This building took a long time, and I mean, it was fun, and I'm glad that it's done. I'm very proud of it, even though it's pretty shit. But I really want to change up the pace, and caving is like the other big part of the game, so I want to get into that. Either way, I think that's going to go ahead and be it for this video. I think I've rambled on way more than enough, so I'll let you guys go, and in the next one, we'll be going and looking through some caves, so I I hope you're looking forward to a very, very dark video where we will be creeping around, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.